Harvey Dent. Born to Richard and Lotta Dent, Harvey was a well-behaved child. His father was Gotham's county prosecutor and a part of Gotham's high society. The Dents had many connections, and one such friendship was that of the Wayne family. Thomas and Martha Wayne's son, Bruce, was around Harvey's age. The two became friends. One of Harvey's trademarks was his coin. He would flip it to make trivial decisions sometimes. Bruce always thought it humorous, and they would often make up games based around the flipping of Harvey's coin. Harvey kept that coin throughout his life. Although the Dents were upstanding citizens from the public's standpoint, Richard Dent was constantly plagued by the stress and paranoia that came with his job. He turned to the drink more often than not, often coming home in a drunken stupor. Sometimes his drinking would lead to beatings heaped upon Harvey. This impacted the boy deeply. Eventually, his father passed away from a heart attack. This happened soon after the death of the Waynes at the hand of a stagecoach bandit. Bruce and Harvey relied heavily on each other in their friendship. Their shared loss brought them together, but with one major difference. Bruce was enraged at the man who had killed his parents, while Harvey's rage was directed at his late father. As the years passed, Harvey's anger festered and turned him bitter inside. He accomplished much, studying law and politics, eventually being groomed to take on the position of county prosecutor like his father. With Bruce's departure from Gotham in 1879, Harvey's bitterness took aim at his friend. The budding city official took Bruce's absence personally, though he would never admit it outright. Instead, he kept it bottled up, pushed down deep inside. Harvey eventually met Gilda Beaumont, a young lady in Gotham's socialite circle. The two began a courtship which led to their marriage in 1884. What was meant to be a joyful part of Harvey's life was tainted still by his bitterness and resentment boiling beneath the surface. Not even his acquisition of the position of county prosecutor truly brought him happiness. Gilda's marriage to Harvey Dent was an oppressive one. He was overly jealous, paranoid that she would leave him, and, like his father, eventually began to turn to the drink. He would be calm and composed some days, and others he would fly into a rage about something or other. Gilda was afraid to leave him as she felt that her presence was one of the few things helping the man whom she loved. This did not stop Harvey from being unfaithful to her, however. The young district attorney was known to frequent seedy clubs and even brothels on occasion, all the while keeping it a secret from Gilda. He led a double life in his marriage, as well as in his social standing. To Gotham's citizens, he was a paradigm of justice, but behind the scenes, many knew that he was merely another cog in Gotham's corruption. Whether or not he realized it, he had fallen into the same trap as his father. Harvey was on a one-way trip to self-destruction by the time of Bruce's reappearance in Gotham. Harvey still felt bitter towards his friend, but it was overshadowed by his joy and relief at seeing him. The two rekindled their friendship. Harvey's drinking receded, and his visits to risque establishments ceased altogether, though he still did not come clean to Gilda about it. Bruce could see that Harvey was struggling, although his friend would not breathe a word of it to him. All Bruce could do was be there for him and hope that that was enough. Bruce and Harvey would frequent the Hawkins Club, an establishment owned by Bruce, as well as the Monarch Theater. It was at Monarch Theater where Bruce first saw Selina Kyle after returning home, and Harvey first began to allow his resentment to poison his friendship with the young thousandaire. Harvey was enamored with Miss Kyle, but she could see right through him, and would have nothing to do with a married man. As Miss Kyle began to spend more time with him and Bruce, Harvey began to notice that Bruce was taking a liking to her, and she to him. It went as far as Bruce sneaking her into the men-only Hawkins Club with them. Harvey found himself enraged at both Miss Kyle and Bruce. The county prosecutor allowed resentment to poison his heart and began to fall into his old habits. Selina Kyle even once mentioned that he was a regular Jekyll and Hyde, to which Bruce agreed. He's almost a different person when he has the drink in him. Harvey's resentment grew as he saw Bruce seemingly get everything he wanted. A glorious return to high society, a veritable fortune of an inheritance, and the affections of Miss Kyle. He was a man spurned, and he continued to sink lower and lower. Soon Gotham began to see horrendous murders plague its streets. Some claimed it was Jack the Ripper returned, and others claimed it was the mysterious Batman who was rumored to roam the streets of Gotham. Harvey finally let his rage loose in this particular instance. It had been building and building for years, made worse by the fact that he had no one he felt he could confide in. He was bored with his lot in life, and as soon as he saw an opportunity to bring Bruce off of his pedestal, he took it. He was one of the main reasons that Bruce was tried and convicted for the murders of Jack the Ripper in Gotham. His two-faced nature was beginning to rear its ugly head.